Welcome to this training recording on Process Analytics version 1.5. Aptean Analytics delivers purpose-built, industry-specific dashboards that extract data from Aptean applications as either single product or cross-product solutions. These dashboards are accessible through the web, mobile or desktop clients, and they're powered by the QlikView 11 platform. Aptean Analytics allows us to visualize our business data with state-of-the-art graphics. This gives us the ability to instantly focus on the most relevant data for our analysis, and we're not limited to pre-configured dashboards. This recording is essentially broken down into two parts. First, we'll have a look at the Aptean Analytics user interface, so we'll be looking at how we navigate around and what all the buttons do. We'll then look in more detail at the Process Analytics 1.5 solution, and we'll finish with a look at the mobile client. You can use the video menu to navigate to whatever part of the recording you need to look at. In the Aptean Analytics login screen, we first need to enter our login name and password. On the left side of the screen, we have the navigation menu. Here we can click the button specific to the dashboards that we want to view. A vertical bar on the button indicates that this is a top-level item, and when we click it, we'll see a number of other dashboards. At the bottom of the navigation menu, there are some other buttons: About, Help and Sign Out. Just below Sign Out, we can see our login name. In the top right, there is this crossed hammer and spanner icon. When we click on that, we see the toolbar. This toolbar gives us lots of options, such as clearing our current selections, opening up bookmarks, and adding new objects like list boxes. We'll have a closer look at all these buttons later. This area is known as a sheet, and all the charts, tables, list boxes, etc. are known as sheet objects. We can right-click to see the properties of the sheet itself or any object on the sheet. Many of the toolbar functions are available on the sheet menu. Next to the menu is a filter area, showing the most commonly used filters. We can select data here to filter our results. We can also filter our data in a number of other ways, and we'll look at how to do that in more detail later. When we do select anything, those selections show up in the Current Selections area. All our selections will appear here, and that helps us track everything we're currently filtering on. One important thing to understand is that these filters are being applied not only to this dashboard, but to all the others as well. So any selections made here can affect all the other dashboards. If we want to clear our current selections, we can do this in a number of different ways. We can clear individual selections by using the eraser icon in the Current Selections object. Or, if we want to clear all our selections, then we can use the Clear All Filters button. That Clear button also appears on the toolbar. Next to the Clear All Filters button, we have the Back and Forward buttons. Back reverts the current selection to the previous selection, and Forward moves it forward one step. Forward is only available if Back has already been selected. The Back and Forward buttons also appear on the toolbar. We get some other options when we right-click on a list box, such as Customer Name or Salesperson. Selecting Clear will clear that filter only, or we can select Clear Other Fields, which clears all related fields except this one. Clicking Select Excluded effectively reverses our selections. One of the features of QlikView is its ability to let users rearrange the look of the dashboard. They must have permission to do this, of course. We can drag the charts or any other objects anywhere on the sheet if we want to rearrange it. If we do that and then change our mind, then clicking Undo Layout on the toolbar will undo the last layout action. If we want to put the object back, then we just click Redo Layout. So, for example, if we move this object, we can easily undo that change by clicking the Undo Layout button. The lock icon lets us lock our current selections, so they cannot be unchecked. It also changes the color of the selected items that are locked to dark blue, as we can see here. This just means these selections won't get removed accidentally. We can add other selections, but we can't remove these locked ones unless we click the Unlock icon or clear them all. Selections opens the current selections window. This shows the same values that we see in the current selections object. We can also remove any selections from here if we want to. As I mentioned earlier, we can filter our data in a number of different ways. We can select from the filter panel objects and list boxes, as we've seen already. We can also select more than one filter by dragging across a range of values, or we can hold the Control key and click around. When we select any filter, all the data associated with that filter is shown in white. Any unassociated data is shown in grey. The most commonly used filters appear in the filter area, and these will change depending on the dashboard we're looking at. But if we do need access to a wider range of filters, then we can use the Open Filters and Date Filters buttons. The Open Filters button opens a filter window that shows other applicable filter criteria. The filters we see here can also be different for each dashboard. We can now select anything we like, and once again, the current selections area displays our selections. Clicking Open Filters again closes it down, or we can use the little X here. If we need more date filters than the ones we already have in the filter area, then we use the Date Filters button to display some more date options. Now we've really just been using list boxes so far to filter our data. Another way we can apply a filter is to simply drag across a range of values in a chart, or just pick a specific value in the chart or in a table. We can also filter using search. There are a couple of ways we can do this. If we look at any list box, there may be a little search icon in the top right corner. If there is, we can simply click that and then type in a value. We can also use wildcard characters when searching. Just enter an asterisk. There is also a global search here at the top of the filter area. This can search a single field or multiple fields depending on how it's been configured. This gives us lots of flexibility when searching, and our search results will then filter the data as usual. Now you may have noticed a couple of small icons in the top right corner of many of the charts. The first one lets us export the data to Excel. The second one gives us fast change options. This essentially lets us change the current chart type to another chart type. We can switch from, say, a pie chart to a line chart with a click of this button. Clicking the button itself cycles through all the available chart types, or we can right-click on the button to see the chart options. We can also see the fast change option in the chart properties. Notes and comments can be added to any object. This lets our users create and share notes about anything they see in the dashboard. So they could add a note to one of the charts, for example. These notes are shared with other ClickView users, and these users can then respond by leaving their own comments. Clicking the Show Hide Notes icon shows us all existing notes. The drop-down list lets us see all the notes or just specific ones, created by me, for example. We can then click that note to get more details. The green camera icon indicates a snapshot has been taken. Clicking that takes us to a bookmarked location. We can easily add a note to any object by right-clicking on it and then selecting Notes, Add a New Note. If there were any existing notes, we would also see an option to view attached notes. We can then add a title, some text, and also save a snapshot of the data with each note we create. A snapshot is effectively a bookmark containing selections and locations. We'll look at bookmarks in more detail in a moment. We can now select Show Hide Notes once again to see our new note. If we no longer require a note, we can simply delete it. The Bookmarks feature lets us save all our current selections and give them a name, so we can easily reapply those selections later. Bookmarks are great at helping us navigate to specific sets of data. We can see any existing bookmarks on the drop-down list. We just select the one we want to apply. Okay, so let's say we want to bookmark our current selections. To do that, we click the Add Bookmark icon on the toolbar. The dialog box is displayed, and we can now enter the bookmark name. Below the name are a number of checkboxes. The first one is the option to share this bookmark with other users. Next, we can select Include Selections in Bookmark. As the name implies, this saves all the current selections in our new bookmark. If we then want to apply those selections in addition to the current selections, then we can also select Apply on top of current selection. Next is Include Layout State. This will store the layout state of all objects on the active sheet at the time of the bookmark's creation. We're not currently using the next two checkboxes. Include Scroll Positions lets us store and reapply scroll positions in tables and charts. And Include Input Field Values refers to fields whose values can be edited in the ClickView user interface. Finally, we have the option to show our bookmark description as a pop-up message. Clicking OK saves the bookmark. We can then apply it at any time by selecting it from the bookmark list. If we want to remove any bookmark, we use the Remove Bookmark button here. The Select Report drop-down shows any reports that are available. These are just static reports that we can print out if required. Next to that, we have the More menu, which has three options. Open Help opens the application help files. Mail with Bookmark as Link will email any selected bookmark as a link. And finally, Document Support Information displays the document name, client platform, and ClickView server information. If we have permission, then we can modify the sheet by adding new charts, list boxes, searches, etc. Now we cover how to do all of these types of changes in much more detail in the Working with ClickView desktop recordings, which you can find on the support portal. But for now, we'll just have a quick overview of the types of changes you can make. There are lots of ways to add new objects. One easy way is to simply right-click on any existing object and copy it. We can then paste it anywhere we want. When we paste it, we can either create a copy, which is completely independent of the original, or select Add a Link. This means any changes made to one linked object are reflected in the other one. Once we have our copy, we can right-click and see its properties. Now we can modify the properties for any copies that we make or new objects that we add, but we cannot change the properties of any existing objects. That can only be done using ClickView Desktop. Every type of object has an extensive list of properties, and they vary dependent on the type. So a chart will have many more properties than, say, a list box. Every object will have settings for the presentation, the caption, and lots of other options, and these will be different depending on the type of object. If we want to remove any object, we simply right-click and select Remove. Then delete the selected object only. There are also three buttons on the toolbar that let us modify the dashboard. They are Repository, New Sheet Object, and Select Fields. The Repository button will show a list of all objects, dimensions, expressions, and bookmarks contained in our application. If we want to add a completely new sheet object, then we click the New Sheet Object button. This shows a list of all the different types of objects available, such as charts, list boxes, searches, etc. If we did just want to add a new list box, then we can click Select Fields and we will see a list of all the available fields. We can then drag the one we want onto the sheet to create a new list box. Okay, let's now have a closer look at the Process Analytics dashboards. First thing we need to do is to enter our username and password in the Analytics login screen. Once we're logged in, we can see there are 5 buttons available here on the navigation bar: Management, Sales, Operations, Quality, and finally Finance and Inventory. Clicking any of these buttons takes us to a corresponding set of dashboards. We'll start by looking at Management. There are 6 dashboards here: Inventory Scorecard, Operations Scorecard, Profitability by Customer and Product, Profitability Scatterplot, and finally a Revenue Scorecard. The Inventory Scorecard has 3 charts: Return on Investment, Inventory Turns, and Days on Hand. Each chart displays the value and the goal. The filter area lets us filter by the date and the quarter as usual. The filters listed here will change depending on what dashboard we're actually looking at. This particular dashboard has filters for warehouse and product category. So let's say we're looking for information on finished goods and these 3 warehouses. We only want to see 2014 data as well. The additional filters that we will see when we click Open Filters may also change. From here, we will select Ross Food and Beverage. The Calendar Options buttons at the bottom let us switch between fiscal quarter, quarter, period, month, fiscal week and date. This set of calendar buttons appears on many of the dashboards. I'll just click Clear All Filters before moving on to our next dashboard. The Operations Scorecard has 4 charts showing inventory turns, fill rate, overall equipment effectiveness by cell, and quality results. Once again, the calendar buttons at the bottom let us change our view. The filters in the filter area have now changed to product name and product group. If we now want to have a closer look at which customers are the most profitable, then we switch to the Profitability by Customer dashboard. Here we have 2 tabs at the top: Gross Margin and Margin Details. Gross Margin displays 3 charts. The top chart shows our gross margin, and we can view this by division, sales class and ABC rank using these buttons. Below that, we can see our top customers by gross margin and gross profit. The arrows here let us easily switch between the top and bottom 10 customers. As usual, we can use the Fast Change button to change our chart type, so we may want to see this bottom chart as a table. If we select the top 3 customers by gross profit, we can then go to Margin Details to get more detailed information about the gross profit and the customer. Here we can see data such as net sales, cost of goods, gross profit and the margin for each of those 3 customers. We can also filter on customer name and product name in the filter area. The Profitability by Product dashboard is quite similar to the Profitability by Customer dashboard. Once again, we have the same 2 tabs at the top: Gross Margin and Margin Details. But this time, we're focusing on the product rather than the customer. We can see gross margin and our top products by gross margin and gross profit. We can then go to margin details to see more information. The Profitability Scatter Plot dashboard has two tabs, Customer and Product. On the Customer tab, we can view our top customers by net sales in a chart and in a table. We can use the arrow buttons here to cycle through groups of customers. We might be interested in the top customers by net sales, so we can select the top 4 and then switch over to the Product tab to get more details. The Product tab now shows our top products by net sales for those customers. The chart at the top shows the gross profit and net sales, and the top products table displays net sales and gross margin. The final management dashboard is the Revenue Scorecard. Here we can get an overall view of all our revenue. At the top, we have two charts showing sales opportunity by period and sales by customer. Below that, we have a sales cost and profit analysis chart showing our gross sales, cost of goods, and gross profit. This particular chart is controlled by these calendar buttons. The final chart at the bottom is outstanding accounts receivable by customer. We can filter by customer name or salesperson, or apply additional filters as usual by clicking Open Filters. The sales group has 12 dashboards. We'll start at the top with the corporate scorecard. There are 3 charts here showing opportunities by stage, sales cost and profit analysis, and shipping fill rate. At the top, the opportunities by stage chart shows the value of sales opportunities in the various pipeline stages. As usual, we can filter the data using the filter area on the left or simply select within the chart. If we do need a different visualization of our data, then the Fast Change option is available by clicking the Fast Change button. In the middle of the dashboard we have the Sales Cost and Profit Analysis chart. This shows the gross sales, cost of goods, and gross profit. Gross sales is a measure of overall sales that is not adjusted for customer discounts or returns. It's calculated simply by adding all our sales invoices. This does not include operating expenses, cost of goods sold, payment of taxes, or any other charge. The cost of goods sold expenses include the cost of products or raw materials. This includes freight or shipping charges, the cost of storing products, direct labor costs, and factory overhead expenses. Gross profit is the difference between revenue and the cost of making a product or providing a service, before deducting overhead, payroll, taxation, and interest payments. At the bottom we have the shipping fill rate chart, which shows us the fill rate and the on-time fill rate. Fill rate is a logistics measure of inventory effectiveness at meeting demands, and the fill rate chart shows the percentage of fill rate versus the percentage of on-time fill rate. Fill rate is calculated by dividing the order quantity by the order quantity filled, and on-time fill rate is calculated by dividing the quantity by the order quantity filled on time. We control the bottom 2 charts using the calendar options buttons. The Customer and Product Sales dashboard has 3 charts showing gross sales, top customers, and top products. The gross sales chart is controlled by the calendar options buttons. If we now need to drill down and look at our leads, we select the Leads dashboard. This shows all of our leads by source, region, product, interest, and quality. We can also click the Details button to see a table listing all our leads. The filters on the left have changed to show lead status and salesperson. The date filter is based on the lead creation date. Leads by source shows us how many opportunities we have by the marketing project that generated the lead. Leads by region show our leads by country, and leads by product interest shows leads based on the actual product. The quality button shows leads by quality. Perhaps we want to look at a specific marketing project to see the quality of the leads, or maybe look at this data by salesperson to make sure that high quality leads are evenly distributed. The last button provides us with the lead details, and we can move the columns around to get the table looking exactly how we want it. We've looked at our leads, now we want to see our pipeline. Here we can check if we have a healthy sales pipeline or not. The tabs at the top are used to toggle between two sets of criteria, salesperson and opportunity analysis. If we do select a date filter, then it will use the opportunity decision date. If it's blank, then it will use the opportunity create date. The filters have changed to show salesperson and product name. We can also select opportunity status from the filter at the top of the dashboard. The buttons at the bottom let us see our opportunity information in a number of different ways. The first button shows opportunities by stage, and we can see if we have enough leads coming into our pipeline and enough orders coming out. We can easily view the pipeline for different salespeople by selecting them from the salesperson list box in the filter area. So for example, we can look at all opportunities for Conrad and Natasha in 2014 where the status is 1. The second button shows us opportunity information by region. The chart shows both the number and the value of all our opportunities. This gives us a nice visual comparison of all the sales regions. From this chart, we can see whether our deal sizes are different by region. We could also use the product filter to see if we are getting more opportunities in a specific region for a specific product. The third button shows opportunity information based on the salesperson. Once again, the chart shows both the number and the value of the opportunities. This lets us compare the opportunities for different salespeople, and we would want to look at the number as well as the opportunity value to see if they're going after the right deals. The fourth button displays opportunities by industry. The chart shows both the number and value of the opportunities for specific industries. Fifth button displays opportunity information by status, and the last button displays information by contact title. This chart shows us who we're actually selling to, and we can drill down to see where we're having the most success. We can now use the tabs at the top to get to opportunity analysis information. This gives us access to additional charts, as well as a detailed list of sales opportunities. Opportunities by close date and stage is a different way to see the pipeline information, as it's displayed based on the opportunity decision date. In progress opportunities gives us a list of the top opportunities based on the opportunity value. Trends shows a couple of charts. The average deal size trend chart shows if our deal sizes are changing over time. Below that is the average days to close by salesperson chart. Clicking the details button shows details on all the opportunities. The last button shows us the opportunities closing list and the opportunities past due list. The closing list is based on opportunities added to the forecast, and the opportunities past due list shows opportunities that are still in progress or on hold, but the decision date has actually passed. Next we have our quota performance dashboard. Here we can easily see if our actual sales compare to the forecasted sales and quota. This gives us a good summary of what's going on in our business. So at the top we have a status filter, and below that are 4 gauge charts showing the number of accounts sold to, the total value of closed opportunities, the sales quota, and the amount left to close. The next set of charts shows closed versus quota, orders versus quota, and our forecasted sales versus quota. We can configure the values that correspond to the different coloured zones in these gauge charts. Clicking Sales Target by Salesperson displays what is effectively a leaderboard that shows who in the sales team are meeting their quotas. The next dashboard is returns. There are three charts here: return value as a percentage of gross sales by product group, return value by product group, and returns value over time. The calendar option buttons at the bottom only affect the returns value over time chart. Sales by region shows the sales by country over time. We can change the view using the calendar options buttons. Below that, we have the sales by state or province pivot table showing net sales. For a more detailed look at our sales rep performance, we can use the Sales by Rep dashboard. Here we can see the top sales reps by 4 different measures: by net sales, by discounts, by gross profit, and finally by average sales values. The Sales Promotion dashboard has 3 tabs: Promotion Analysis, Customer Analysis, and Product Analysis. Promotion Analysis shows the discount type, programs, and the discount value of all our promotions. Customer Analysis shows the gross sales and discount value by customer in the top scatter chart, and we can use the arrows to cycle through our customers. In the middle we see the promotion percentage of gross sales by customer, and the pivot table at the bottom displays ABC sales class, gross sales discount value, and promotion percentage of gross sales. The last tab is Product Analysis. This is similar to Customer Analysis, but this time we're looking at our products. So we have gross sales and discount value by product at the top, and promotion percentage of gross sales by product in the center. The sales class pivot table at the bottom lets us drill down for further details. The Shipments on Time dashboard lets us analyze our on-time shipments and our on-time shipments over time. We can use the calendar options buttons to control the middle chart only. The pivot table at the bottom shows details of all our on-time shipments. The next dashboard in the sales category is the Shipping Scorecard. This displays order and order line completion percentages. In the top left there is a circular gauge chart that displays the order completion of a sales order. For a 100% order completion, all order lines for the sales order have to be completed. Here we can see the percentage of sales orders completed, the percentage of sales orders completed on time, and finally the percentage of sales orders that are incomplete. The order line completion chart displays the order line completion of a sales order. Below the 2 gauge charts are 2 other charts, showing the same data in a different format. These 2 charts are controlled by the calendar view buttons. The final dashboard in the sales category is the Sales Win-Loss dashboard. Here we're trying to figure out in what situations do we win or lose deals. The 2 buttons at the bottom allow us to easily toggle between won and lost opportunities, and the tabs at the top show win-loss information in a number of different ways. We've also removed the status filters as we're really just looking at the wins and the losses. The first button shows the reason for winning and losing deals. The number and amount of the opportunities are shown in the chart. We can then switch between reason for winning or losing at the bottom. The second button shows us won and lost opportunities by industry. This gives us a better idea of whether our wins or losses vary based on the industry. The third button shows us wins by competitor. Here we can see competitors and regions. The fourth button shows opportunities by deal size. Here we can see if there is a correlation between the wins and losses and the size of the deal. The last button gives us the win rate and details. We have a gauge chart at the top showing the actual win rate. Below that is a pivot table with a detailed list of wins and losses. We can see the win rate for each salesperson in the gauge chart, so this gives us a nice easy way to see how well our salespeople are performing. Okay, we'll now have a look at the operations dashboards. Under the operations category, we have all the dashboards that analyze various aspects of the manufacturing process. The dashboards that start with OEE get their data from factory. The OEE analysis dashboard provides information about the overall equipment effectiveness. This is a measure to help us reduce costs and maximize profits. It's obtained by multiplying the rate, yield, and utilization of a process. Rate is the actual number of units produced per minute compared to the planned number of units. Yield is the actual number of good units produced compared to the number of units that were started in the same period. And utilization is the amount of actual uptime compared to the planned uptime. The top two charts show the OEE by cell and the OEE trend over time. A cell is a stage in the manufacturing process where there is an inflow of raw materials to be processed and products generated. A cell may correspond directly to a production line, but this is not always the case. The next three charts let us analyze rate trend, utilization trend, and yield trend. We can also select a factory name or cell name from the list boxes or search for one if we need to. For more detailed information on OEE cost per unit, we can use this dashboard. Here we can see the cost per unit by cell and also the cost by unit trend. The date buttons let us modify the view. The cost per unit breakdown chart shows asset run cost, crew cost, and material cost. This is an interesting chart that has a number of options. At the bottom, we can switch between shift, crew name, and product. We can use the slider or these arrow buttons to move through the chart if necessary. We can also use the Sort By button to sort by one of four categories: cost per unit, asset run cost, crew cost, and material cost. We'll see more charts of this particular type in the other operations dashboards. OEE rate shows the rate by cell and the hours and occurrences trend. Here we can check for slow running hours and occurrences for each cell and spot trends by quarter, month, week, day, or hour. Below that we have a chart showing slow running hours and occurrences. Just like the chart on the cost per unit dashboard, we can use the buttons at the bottom to view asset name, shift crew names, products, and event names. We can also sort by rate, slow running hours, and slow running occurrences. For more details on downtime hours and stoppages, we jump to the next dashboard. At the top we have the downtime hours and stoppages by cell, and also the trend. The downtime hours and stoppages chart shows those measures by asset name, shift, crew names, products, and event names. And this time we can sort by utilization, downtime hours, or stoppages. The OEE yield dashboard shows yield by cell and yield trend. We can view the bottom chart by asset name, shift, crew name, and product. And we can sort by yield or rejects and reasons. The event name legend here gives us a nice color-coded indication of all our reject reasons. The job cost summary dashboard has an actual versus standard cost table at the top. We can view this by process specification or by job. And we can see the actual cost, standard cost and the variance. The unit cost variance is shown over time in the center chart, and the usual calendar options buttons let us view this data over different time periods. The bottom chart shows actual versus standard cost. Now we've seen the summary, we can get more details on the job costs in the Job Cost Detail dashboard. The two tabs at the top let us switch between unit cost and details. Factory name is a list box that we can use to select a specific factory. The chart below will display unit cost over time. Clicking details will then show unit cost by factory, and below that is the cost by job table. If we need to see the machine hours by factory or machine runtime, then we can get this information from the next dashboard. The Charts tab displays the machine hours by factory chart and the machine runtime chart, and we have our standard calendar option buttons at the bottom. The Details tab displays two tables where we see the top products and machines by runtime. The Job Material Cost Variance dashboard has four tabs: Extremes, Cost Category, Product and Job. Extremes shows us the best and worst cost variance by cost category. We can then look at material cost variance by cost category in this table, and the material cost variance by product in this one. The final tab shows this information by job in a pivot table. The Job Material Yield dashboard is used to display yield analysis data. We can filter by product name and product group. There is also a factory name filter here. There are 6 tabs at the top. When we select Actual versus Standard, we see two charts: Actual Yield versus Standard Yield and Actual Yield Deviation with Standard Yield. Next we have Product Group. Here we have the top product groups by yield deviation, which shows the yield deviation percentage for the top 10 product groups. Below that is a table displaying the yield analysis by product group. The actual and standard yield percentage and the yield deviation percentage for all product groups is shown. Job shows similar information for jobs, and the factory button shows the yield deviation percentage for the top factories in the top factories by yield deviation chart. The yield analysis by factory table shows the actual and standard yield percentage and the yield deviation percentage for all our factories. Clicking Product displays the top products by yield deviation. This is actually showing the yield deviation percentage for our top 10 products. Below that, we can see the actual and standard yield percentage and the yield deviation percentage for all our products. Finally, Process Specification shows us the top process specifications by yield deviation, and the yield analysis by process specification chart shows the spec version, actual and standard yield percentage, and the yield deviation percentage for all process specifications. For details on which jobs started or finished late, we can use the Job Schedule Adherence dashboard. The top two charts show the job start and job completion percentage. Below that, we see the number of jobs over time. At the bottom we have the jobs by process specification table. This shows the total jobs and the percentage that started and finished on time for each factory. Okay, that's the operations dashboards. Next we'll look at the quality category, which contains 4 dashboards that provide information on the quality parameters of our products. The Jobs Failed Inspection dashboard has 2 tabs, Charts and Details. The quality chart shows the total jobs, the jobs that failed quality, and the percentage that failed. As usual, we can use the calendar options buttons at the bottom to get a different visualization of the data. Details displays 2 tables showing the production quality by factory and also the top process specification by failure percentage. Here we can see the jobs that failed quality inspection by number and by percentage, and we can see that for both the factory and the process specification. The manufacturing inspection dashboard has 5 tabs that show quality tests, and also the out-of-spec percentage for products, test groups, test codes and machine codes. The quality test table displays the total quality tests, out-of-spec quality tests and warning quality tests. Switching to the Products tab shows the bottom input and output products by out-of-spec percentage. We can see similar charts on the test groups, test codes and machine codes tabs. Product inspection has 4 tabs. The Quality Test tab shows a chart that displays total quality tests, out-of-spec quality tests and warning quality tests. We can view the data over different time periods using our calendar buttons at the bottom. The next 3 tabs let us see the in and out-of-spec percentage for products, test groups and test codes. Finally, we have Receiving Inspection Data, where we're looking at our suppliers. Once again, we see quality tests and in and out of spec percentages for products, suppliers, test groups and test codes. The last category is Finance and Inventory. Here we have 7 dashboards. The first is Accounts Payable. The Accounts Payable dashboard displays the accounts payable outstanding by AP aging, organization and division. The filter area has changed to show vendor name. These financial accounts payable measures give us the ability to analyze outstanding amounts, cash payments, discounts and adjustments for our accounts payable. The data for financial accounts payable is based on the AP transactions table. The top AP outstanding by vendor chart is constant for the vendor selected, so it won't actually change if we select AP aging, organization or division. These 3 buttons determine what we see in the AP outstanding chart. The tab at the top lets us switch to AP payments, and we can see our vendors in the top chart and cash payments in the bottom one. The Accounts Receivable dashboard is similar to the Accounts Payable one, except we now focus on customers instead of vendors. Financial Accounts Receivable measures provide the ability to analyze outstanding amounts, cash receipts, discounts, adjustments and write-offs for our accounts receivable. The data for this is based on the AR transactions table. The Accounts Receivable Outstanding tab has 2 charts, showing the top accounts receivable by customer, how much is outstanding and over what time period. Switching to accounts receivable using the tab at the top shows the top accounts receivable cash receipts by customer and also our accounts receivable cash receipts. We can use the buttons here to view the bottom chart by invoice age, organization and division. In the Inventory Aging dashboard we can view the lot value by inventory status code at the top. The next 2 pivot tables are lot expiration and lot aging. This data can be viewed over time by organization, warehouse, division and product. We can use the Inventory Quantity dashboard to see the top inventory quantity and total inventory quantity. We can see this data by warehouse, product, product group, class or type. Details of the unit cost and unit cost over time can be found in the Inventory Unit Cost dashboard. We can view the data by product group or warehouse. The Details tab will show us products with the highest and lowest unit cost, as well as the biggest unit cost fluctuations. The Inventory Value dashboard displays the inventory value, the top products, and the value by status. The inventory values are displayed in the top chart. Below that are some buttons to control its content, so we can select fiscal period, warehouse, product, product type, product classification, and product group. Below that, we have the top products table. The products with the top 10 highest values for the current period are displayed here. Next to that is a chart called Value by Status, where we can see the inventory value by status, and we can fast change as usual to see different formats. The final dashboard is Losses and Returns. Losses displays two charts. The top one shows our inventory value over time, and the bottom shows inventory value by warehouse. We can see similar charts for returns on the next tab. Aptean Analytics is built for common mobile operating systems. It supports iOS and Android, and it offers broad compatibility with a wide range of browsers. You can download the app from the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store. The mobile client shows us the same information that we see in the web client. However, there are a few small differences, and we'll look at them now. The navigation menu on the left is hidden to maximize screen space. Clicking on this button shows the menu, and we see the same dashboards as before. Clicking the hammer and spanner button in the top right displays the toolbar, just like in the web client, and we can access our bookmarks from here. We make selections as usual by clicking on appropriate filter values. If we want to select more than one value, we just need to touch the screen for a second or two on the filter we want to use. We can then select multiple options, and clicking the green check mark saves those selections and closes it down. Thanks for taking the time to watch this training video. We hope you find the information useful. You can view other training recordings on the support portal, including more detailed guides on working with ClickView Desktop. Finally, thank you for using Aptean University.